The end of a relationship is not always a failure. Sometimes all the love in the world is not enough to save something. In these cases, it is not a matter of fault from either person. Some things cannot be. It's as simple as that. It's only with true love and compassion that we can begin to mend what is broken in the world. It is these two blessed things that can begin to heal all broken hearts. If I had a camera, I said, I'd take a picture of you every day. That way I'd remember how you looked every single day of your life. Nobody knows you. You don't know yourself. And I, who am half in love with you, what am I in love with? My own imaginings. Tango shook his head. I don't think so. This way is just fine. This is exactly the right time for both of us. We needed that much time, ... to understand how lonely we really were. Regret is mostly caused by not having done anything. Was it all in my head, a lunar trick? Her stomach twisted. No. She shook her head fervently. How to explain that she hadn't had the gift before? That she couldn't have used it against him? I would never lie. The words faded. She had lied. Everything he knew about her had been a lie. I'm so sorry, she finished, the words falling lamely in the open air. Kai peeled his eyes away, finding some place of resignation off in the glistening garden. You're even more painful to look at than she is. It's easy to fall in love, Ben. The hard part comes when you want out. If only it were possible to love without injury. Fidelity isn't enough. I had been faithful to Anne, and yet I had injured her. The hurt is in the act of possession. We are too small in mind and body to possess another person without pride, or to be possessed without humiliation. In a way, I was glad that my wife had struck out at me again. I had forgotten her pain for too long, and this was the only kind of recompense I could give her. Unfortunately, the innocent are always involved in any conflict. Always, everywhere. There is some voice crying from a tower. I close my eyes, thinking that there is nothing like an embrace after an absence. Nothing like fitting my face into the curve of his shoulder and filling my lungs with the scent of him. He smiles at me, and I am suddenly 17 again. The year I realized that love doesn't follow the rules. The year I understood that nothing is worth having so much as something unattainable. You had to be willing to fight in order for a love story to last a lifetime. I felt silly for even mentioning it, but once I did, I knew I had to explain. When I was a kid, I had this puzzle with all 50 states on it. You know, the kind where you have to fit them all together. And one day, I got it in my head that California and Nevada were in love. I told my mom, and she had no idea what I was talking about. I ran and got those two pieces and showed it to her. California and Nevada, completely in love. So a lot of the time when we're like this, my ankles against the backs of your ankles, my knees fitting into the backs of your knees, my thighs on the backs of your legs, my stomach against your back, my chin folding into your neck, I can't help but think about California and Nevada and how we're a lot like them. If someone were drawing us from above as a map, that's what we'd look like. That's how we are. For a moment, you were quiet. And then you nestled in and whispered, everything happens for a reason, and something better will come along for me. Love changes what is probable and makes unlikely things possible. Love lasts about 7 years. That's how long it takes for the cells of the body to totally replace themselves. You forget all of it anyway. First, you forget everything you learned, the dates of the Hayharan Treaty and Pythagorean Theorem. You especially forget everything you didn't really learn, but just memorized the night before. You forget the names of all but 1 or 2 of your teachers, and eventually you'll forget those, too. You forget your junior class schedule and where you used to sit, and your best friend's home phone number, and the lyrics to that song you must have played 1,000,000 times. For me, it was something by Simon and Garfunkel. Who knows what it will be for you? And eventually, but slowly, oh so slowly, you forget your humiliations. The ones that seemed indelible just fade away. You forget who was cool and who was not, who was pretty, smart, athletic, and not, who went to a good college, who threw the best parties, who could get you pot. You forget all of them, even the ones you said you loved, and even the ones you actually did. They're the last to go. And then, once you've forgotten enough, you love someone else. Nice costume, he said. Ditto, I can tell you put a lot of thought into yours. Amusement. Curled his mouth. If you don't like it, I can take it off.